This is Let's Make Waves podcast. I'm your host, Rana Al-Basri Marwad, and I believe that we're all here to make waves. I created this podcast to help you build your brand by sharing with you tools, resources, and strategies to gain professional authority for better business opportunities. If you want to get unstuck, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Hello. I'm so happy to be back here with all of you and for the start of this new season 2 of Let's Make Waves podcast. I hope that during this time, the time that we were off the air, since our last episode last season, that everything has been great and forward moving for you all. From my end, the season break was very interesting. I had the chance to travel to the UK to visit my family. My kids got to see their grandmother, their cousins, and in their words, it was a shame that the Queen was not walking around Buckingham Palace when we went to visit. So all in all, I feel blessed that as an entrepreneur, I was able to travel for a month, knowing that the systems that I had in place can keep the ball rolling in my business. So that's one of the beauty of entrepreneurship. Okay, so we will take it off where we left. Now, in season 1 was all about personal brand, marketing, content, communications, even mindset topics. And we'll go more into details and strategies on those topics and more topics in this season. I'm so happy to announce that we will have some special guests in some of the episodes where they get to share valuable experience, strategies, information that could further support you and help you in your entrepreneurial journey. As you all already know, this podcast is aimed to help you make waves of your own and build something you dream of and grow it and sustain it. Also, this week marks our first anniversary of the podcast. Honestly, I'm saying these words and I'm pinching myself. 1 year since the start. I'm so grateful and appreciative to every single person who dedicated the time to follow my journey and to listen. I'm also very, very grateful for all the reviews that I've received and the beautiful people who decided to subscribe to my podcast. Please know that you are the backbone of this project, and I just want to say that I truly appreciate every single one of you. Now, during season 1, Let's Make Waves was able to hit a lot of great positions in the top 100 podcast charts in different countries around the world. And in some places, it was actually in the top 20. So we hit the charts in certain episodes in Canada and UK and India. But what made my day was when it started to hit the top 10 in the MENA region. That's the region where I'm from. So we were in the top 10 in the UAE, in Saudi, in Kuwait, in Oman, in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Lebanon, and Egypt, which is phenomenal. I can't thank you all enough. And now that we are marking year 1 of the podcast and the kickstart of season 2, I want to share with you some of the biggest learnings and wins I experienced when I decided to create this podcast as part of my communication strategy and original content creation. So I'll start with this. When I first decided to create Let's Make Waves podcast, it's because I truly believe that we are all here to make waves in our own way. And with the talents and experiences that we individually have, we all have a chance. This is my mission. So creating something that is important to you and which you believe in is not an easy task or an easy decision, because it comes with a lot of uncertainty and pressures, decision making and choices. I mean, we know that that's entrepreneurship. But it's also very rewarding, especially when it meets with your solid mission and, your true vision for impact. So at the start of this journey, I wanted to find a platform to create something on a weekly basis. During that stage, the stage when you're deciding what to do and how it would look like, I linked my start with many technicalities that could be part of that start. So at the time, when I looked back at my mission, I knew that by creating this podcast, I can use it as a tool to build brand, build authority, and also get the chance to focus on topics that are not only my zone of genius, but also topics that are important to you. And I know that it would help you to create the biggest impact in your business. So going back to that early stage, I froze. You see, like so many, who stop before they start, because I had the same thing. I linked the start with other things. And certain things had to be there for me to be ready to start the podcast. That's what I thought. So what happened is that I linked my start with prerequisites or other factors. I wanted it to be perfect. And by perfect, it had to be the perfect jingle, the perfect intro, the perfect name, the best of and all the equipment, the perfect mic, editing software, all the bells and whistles. And of course, right before starting, I overwhelmed myself with all of these details that immediately impacted my momentum. And I wanted to tell you about this part of my journey because it happens. It happens with everyone. So, you know what I'm talking about. We have an idea, we believe in it, we study it really well, and we know it will have the right impact. But then we get caught up with all the details that we simply stop, we postpone, and sometimes we even abandon the project altogether. So it started that way. But then I knew that if I didn't jump right into the deep end, I will sabotage everything, self-sabotage, and basically get in my own way of making things move forward. So I remember I ordered this mic, but the shipment was delayed. So I decided to start by using my phone. So many episodes you heard on this podcast was recorded on my phone. I know, there's more. I also started the podcast in the middle of a lockdown here in Canada and most of the world. So I'm not recording in a studio. And I don't have that kind of space in my house where I could create a noise-proof, fully sealed studio style. So also, so many of the episodes you heard were recorded in the walk-in closet. I know, that's funny too. So I basically taught myself to use GarageBand, and I use it, and I still use it till this day to record and edit, using that app. So in a nutshell, what I want to say is that I decided to find a solution, no matter what. No matter what. And it had to be that way, no matter what, because I honestly believe that if I didn't start, even when I'm not ready, then I will never start. And the stars will not align for us to do something perfectly. So we have to take control of our situation and the environment and just do it. And this is exactly what happened with me. And actually, thanks to that plunge, I'm here with you today, celebrating my first anniversary of the podcast. I also wanted to share this with you today, some of the so many things that impacted me positively by choosing to create the Let's Make Waves podcast. I'm sharing it so that if anyone listening today is contemplating or planning to create a podcast, to have an idea of the kind of benefits that could come out of this kind of endeavor. And, maybe you don't want to do a podcast, you decide to do a blog or a series or a TV, kind of video channel, then I'm sure that whatever impacted for me will have the same impact for you. So this is what Let's Make Waves podcast did for me and for my business. I'm going to list them now. So the first thing is this platform gave me the discipline to create, to produce, publish consistent, original weekly content. There has been some rocky instances, yes, I know, but there has been more consistency, which is essential for brand building and marketing a personal brand and a business. The second thing is that the podcast acted as a platform to build my brand. So for the people who have never heard of me before, they got the chance to meet me through my voice and my content and get to have the access to solutions to some of their sticky issues. For the people who have connected with me on other platforms, they get to know me more, what I do, what I stand for, and what type of work I do. So that was a huge plus. The third thing is that it became a platform to connect with new audience outside the social media platforms that I was using. So away from the typical social presence. And that was important for me because through a podcast or even a blog or a video show for others, it is through these different types of content that prospects get to understand more about the brand and the business that we're building. Many businesses depend on social media as a sole marketing tool for their business, which could be really rocky because you're building your brand and business on borrowed land, basically, as they say it. You have no control over these platforms, which is different from creating your own podcast or your own blog and hosting it also on your website, in addition to, in my case, other podcasting platforms. So that was also something that was very important. The fourth thing is that this platform also served me well in giving me the space to create detailed long form audio content. So for my mission and my brand, this was essential because short form content or social media posts, for example, were not enough to properly connect with my target audience. It was also suitable for me because it is audio, which made me, drop any excuse I might have when it comes to content creation, which, many of us face when it comes to video, for example. So I kind of dropped all the excuses. Audio was an easier platform for me to make sure that I can be committed and consistent. The fifth thing is that this platform also gave me the opportunity to create a variety of social content that worked well on my social assets. So this complemented my regular posting strategy, and it gave more depth to my feed on social media, especially LinkedIn and Instagram, which I am the most active on. So I didn't only depend on the typical post that I would post, for example, on Instagram, but bits and pieces from the podcast episode would also create the opportunity to create different types of content. And that was a great plus for me. The sixth thing is that this platform served as a new way to connect with audience that I wouldn't have reached on social anyway. So you see, people use different platforms in different ways, and their habits don't necessarily overlap from one platform to another. So by creating a podcast, I diversified my approach to connect with target audience. So I had my audience on social, my audience on podcasts. Some of them overlapped, but not all of them. So I'm basically reaching more people. The seventh point is that through this platform, I was also able to focus on my email marketing by building my email list. And I used free resources as complimentary download to some of the episodes you already know in season 1. And the results were very, very positive because this tactic gave me more support, gave actually more support to my audience and gave me the support to find a way to get people to register to my email list. So the topic that I was discussing on certain episode, the complimentary download impacted positively for them as listeners and for my list building, which is a very important component when it comes to the structure of so many businesses. And the last thing, finally, is that through this platform, I was able to showcase my experience, build my authority, and create a bridge that enhances the know, like, and trust factor, which also, is very important. Okay, so these are some of the points that I wanted to share with you. But of course, there's so much more, but these are the major ones. And when I finished the first season, I had enough information, I had enough data that served as a validation to this project. And this kind of data that I collected in terms of impact of this project and this platform on my business was also enough for me to know that I'm on the right track and that this tool is something that has a place in my marketing and branding, brand building toolbox, for example. Now, mind you, if the numbers didn't serve me, that's also okay because it's like R&D, research and development for my business. So not all marketing activations work the way we want them to work. And by doing them and then assessing the information and knowing what didn't work gives us actually more information on what really works for us. And most importantly, what works for our target audience. So that also is something that we need to keep in mind when we are starting something new. This season, I don't only celebrate the first anniversary. I also have enough research and information, some of that from you, my listeners and my followers who connect with me on social or people that I chat with on Clubhouse. I use that information for me to hone down on the topics that are very important to you. And that is something that I can also cover. I also have worked with a great artist for this season to revamp the podcast intro and the jingle. I hope you liked it. I just want to give a special thanks and a shout out to the amazing artist. Her name is Psycho, and this beautiful artist who got exactly what I wanted and translated it into this amazing, amazing music that you are hearing today. So I will link to her details in the show notes. I'm so proud that she is also family. So please feel free to connect with her if you would like to do projects with her. All the details to her information will be in the show notes. This season, there is also a new feature added. I will not only have solo episodes, which honestly are my favorites, but I will also have interview episodes where I get to chat with amazing guests who will add so much value and so much information, so much strategies on topics that are so relevant and so important to you and to your business. So I hope that this season will be more informative. We will all get to learn together, and this community will grow and grow even more. So I hope that all of these, coming episodes will help you to get unstuck on some of the topics that have been bothering you lately and give you solutions and strategies, that you're basically looking for. Now, the connection with me is always open. So if there are any topics that you'd like me to cover here, please feel free to send me an email. If the topic is within the theme of the podcast, I will make sure to cover it in one of the episodes, or to connect with an expert who can give details on that topic and, host them here in one of the episodes. So I will include my email address in the show notes. So please feel free to connect with me and to write to me anytime, and also connect with me on social media on any of the platforms. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be back. I hope you're excited as much as me. And with that, we are at the end of the first episode of season 2, the anniversary episode of Let's Make Waves podcast. Once again, thank you for listening. I'm so happy to start this season with all of you. As always, I do hope that you didn't forget to subscribe to my podcast. I would be honored if you could leave me a review. And if you think my podcast could be interesting or helpful to someone else, so please feel free to share it. I do hope so. I do hope that you do. I can't wait to touch base with you this time next week. Till then, have a wonderful week. Take care.